Merry Christmas, Trojan family. During the 12 days of Christmas, what did your true love promise to give to you? My true love is USC, and this is what she wants to give to me for 2026.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone, and welcome to Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, also the #1 sports podcast network. So whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, pick the platform. This show will always be free. This show will always appreciate your support. All right, you guys have been my gift. Everyone who watches this show, everydayers, part-timers, become an everydayer. If you're watching on YouTube, let's just get this out of the way. Click that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Smash that thumbs up. It keeps that algorithm going. Hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. But like I said, you guys have been my gift since I started doing this, and I cannot say thank you enough ever. I do this show because I love USC. I love USC football. I love USC basketball. I love it so much, I'm willing to call her out when necessary. I'm in this relationship for life, okay? USC football has given me a lot of gifts in my lifetime, some great memories, some not so great, but I'm also thankful for the time that we've had together and for the time we're going to have going forward. So yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. When I'm in a relationship, I take it all in. I don't run away from it. So what I did, I went ahead and I put together my version, since it's Christmas, of the 12 Days of Christmas, USC Trojan edition. This is what I would like from USC football in 2026. All right, this is my wish list. You guys can hit me up in the comments section. Let me know what you would add, what you would change. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't think so, but let me know. All right. How about we're going to go from 12 down to 1, just like the poem, the song. So I want 12 defensive stops. Right? I don't want bend but not break, not almost had him type of stuff. Right? I want actual third and long, game-changing stops. And it wouldn't hurt to be better in November as well, right? So I want 12 defensive stops per game, 12 defensive series of stops, I guess is a better way of putting it. 11 blue chip defensive guys who actually show up angry and ready to play when the game starts. Don't wait for the second half to start. Show up ready to kick some butt when that first kickoff from that first whistle to the very end. I want a 10-sack season from one person because, look, I'm tired of USC leading the nation in almost sacks. Someone needs to be USC's next Tuli Tuipulotu. Man, never try and say that 3 times fast. You'll never get it done. Remember, Tuli, he led the country in sacks. We need that happen again. I want 9 wins from USC to be the floor. I want USC fans to accept that 9 wins is the worst you should ever do in a season. Not the ceiling, not just let's wait for 2027, the floor. Okay? Anything less than 9 wins in 2026 is going to give me permission for a 30-minute rant, an entire episode, maybe a longer episode. I want 8 home games. I want 8 home games that feel like it felt at the Coliseum or the Rose Bowl from 2003 to 2008. I want loud. I want hostile. I want nationally relevant. I don't want the Coliseum to be a tourist stop for the away teams. And yes, I'm counting the Rose Bowl as a home game, just like I count Die Hard as a Christmas movie. So yeah, I want 8 home games with all that stuff going on. I want my 7-figure players who are getting those 7-figure NIL deals to actually, I don't know, pay off. No more hype videos without production. I mean production on the field. I want great hype video production. Don't get me wrong. If USC is going to pay, I'm going to call it star money to, star players, I want star-like type of results, especially when it comes to the transfer portal evaluation. I want 6 turnovers forced in every game, but give me a big game when Ohio State shows up. Okay? I want to see 6 turnovers created by USC's defense. I'm old enough to remember when USC's defense created offense. It used to be a USC thing, right? Wasn't that long ago. Really wasn't. It's not a myth. I've seen it happen before. 5 dominant linemen. I'm not going to sing. I will never sing for you guys. Trust me. You could strap a tune to my back and I couldn't carry it. But I do. I want 5 dominant linemen. I don't care if it's on defense. I don't care if it's offense. I would prefer on defense. Just give me 5 grown adults who move people. Look, if God wants 4 yards, I don't think it's an unreasonable request for me to say I want 5 dominant linemen at USC. I want 4 quarters of physicality. Not a big ask, right? Not just scripted drives to start the game. Not just in the second half. Finish the games like a playoff team would. Excuse me. Give me the effort USC showed against Michigan in 2025. Show me that in every game, and I'll show you a physical team that Lincoln Riley can brag about 2 games in a row. Didn't happen we didn't get that type of a comment from Coach Riley, 2 games in a row. That's a physical team. Because we know why. Anyways, I want 3 linebackers who can actually have an impact during the game. Look, this should even be a Christmas gift request. But here we are, right? This is USC. Can I please have 3 linebackers? I want 2 rivalry wins. Beat Notre Dame. Never mind. UCLA sucks. Beat UCLA. There's no explanation required. We've been talking about it all week. USC, Notre Dame. We'll talk about it more, just not on this episode. And then I want 1 playoff berth. Not we're close, not next year, a real freaking playoff game. In fact, I want to host Notre Dame in Los Angeles. Okay? If most of those gifts show up in 2026, I know I'm not going to get all 12, but if most of those show up, USC will have a chance to play for its 12th national championship. All right, let me know. What are your 12 days of Christmas gifts? Send me your list. And again, from me to everybody watching and listening to this episode, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Without you, I'm not doing the show. I do it for you. I really do. So from my heart to you, Merry Christmas. Fight on. And we got 2 more segments to go. Yeah, here we go. NFL Sundays move really fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game; you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is it's the best when the game starts to shift. A wide receiver is going to get hot. The defense tightens up. Or the momentum flips after a turnover. When that happens, FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. And if you like to play it big with player prop bets, those update as the guys heat up. You can bet the next touchdown scored, the drive result, the totals, a whole bunch more than just that. It keeps you all locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast. So can you. So we're going to do a little bit of a Locked On USC viewer and listener mailbag. I'm going to do it in this segment. I'm going to carry it over into the third segment. And then I'm going to talk about must-watch Christmas movies. I got my own list. I'm sure you have yours. So hang around. This show is all about having fun. Okay. We're not being critical. We're not criticizing. We're just appreciating and loving USC and everything that's involved with USC and Christmas and all that kind of good stuff. So here we go. Let's get into it. But first, I want to say thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Now, if you're one of my everydayers who likes to listen to the show on their favorite podcast platform, look, you already live USC every day. Here's a chance for you to kind of level up a little bit. Why don't you go ad-free? Check this out. You can join the Everydayers Club today, and you're going to get Locked On USC with no interruptions. You can get the members-only Discord access, and there's more features than just that. And you can do it for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check out the link in the show's description page for more information. All right, first question comes from Albert Popovian. Great show today. I'm upset about the ending of the rivalry, but I disagree with MVP, Marvin Powell III. At the end of the day, if we win a national championship, it will calm a lot of people down. At the end of the day, I just feel that this is going to hurt Notre Dame more than it hurts USC. By Notre Dame having a replacement within minutes of the announcement, it shows that there was no good faith in their negotiations. I just feel they were hoping to not renew it. Okay. I'm not going to get into that right now, but to your question, do you think things would calm down if USC wins a national championship? Well, Albert, I think two things can be true at the same time. Yes, the ultimate goal, USC fans will be they'll be streaking naked in the snow if USC wins a national championship in the next 5 years or so. But that doesn't make it any better. It really doesn't. But again, Merry Christmas, Albert, to you and your family. I understand where you're coming from. National championships are a really cool Band-Aid. But that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice one to get to the other. This next question comes from Shane. Is it Stroika or Stroik? I apologize. I want to make sure I get both pronunciations in there. Mark, why have you been so negative as late? Used to love your content until of recent. You've been ragging on USC a lot. Shane, I call out the ones I love when I see them doing dumb stuff, right? That's just who I am. So yeah, when I see USC contributing to the problem, they're going to get called out. Doesn't mean I don't love USC, the coaching staff, the players. If I see something, say something, right? Okay, well, this show is all about talking about USC football, USC basketball. There are sometimes things are going to come up that we're not going to agree on, and especially if it's chipping away at the fabric of USC or its DNA, I'm going to call it out. But I appreciate your question. I understand where you're coming from. Excuse me. I really do try and balance it out as much as possible. But sometimes, it comes at you in waves. You just you have to roll with it. You got to ride it out. So, Shane, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Continue to listen. Trust me, I promise it's not always negative. I try and do my best. So there you see, people, all of you who think I'm a homer, I guess perception is in the eye of the beholder, right? Next question. This comes from Steve J. Is it 02E? All right. I'm not really worried about Antonlynn leaving. I don't think recruits or players are here for him. I'm worried about him taking some of the assistant coaches with him, or a new coordinator wanting to replace the assistant coaches with his guys. You're telling me if Coach Henderson leaves, you're not worried about losing half of the defensive line? If he goes, Jakeem Stewart, Floyd Boucard are gone. If you don't think so, you have USC colored glasses on. All right, Steve, hypothetically speaking, there's always a risk of guys leaving, right? But let me ask you this, hypothetically. What if Henny was replaced with Coach Orgeron, Coach O? You think Thanos? You think Floyd Boucard would just get up and leave? I don't know. And if you're concerned about recruiting dropping off, then you really do not know how good of a recruiter Coach O is, or his eye for talent. Again, hypothetically speaking, I'm not saying that's happening. Would I be upset? No. I would love to see Henny and Coach O working together. And I'm not saying I want to see Sean Newell leave. It's this type of stuff. You ask the question, I'm going to give you an answer. I'm going to try and give you a situation to consider. But again, thank you for the question, Steve. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy holidays. This next one's from Johnny G1246. Good morning, Mark. Great show as usual. It looks as if Coach Lynn is going to be with the team. But Riley and Lynn could make the current defensive staff better through addition by subtraction. We need to make upgrades at linebacker, defensive end, and cornerback. What about replacing Rob Ryan with Pete Kwiatkowski? Someone help me out. Is it Kwiatkowski or Kwiatkowski who coached linebackers, and give him the title of assistant DC? Remove Nua, bring in Coach Edo to coach the defensive ends and make him assistant head coach. And finally, remove Trevon Reed, whose unit underperformed, and put Coach Belk back at cornerbacks coach. And Lynn can go back coaching safety. What are your thoughts? All right. There's a lot to unpack there. I can't get on the same page with that. I think you can give, if Pete becomes USC's defensive coordinator, if Pete K, you give him the first line defensive coordinator role. There's no co with him. If anything, you promote him to assistant head coach. Now, assuming that Pete is USC's next defense coordinator, and as of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Dan Lynn is USC's current defensive coordinator and will be coaching that side of the ball in the Alamo Bowl, unless something changes between now and the next handful of days. But if Pete is USC's next defensive coordinator, he's going to want to pick his guys that he feels will get the job done. That's just the way it works. It's not often that a new guy comes in and keeps everyone while kind of just rearranging the deck chairs, so to speak. That's not how it works. I understand where you're coming from. You want to keep everybody happy, and you don't want to see guys move along, whatever. The best thing USC could do is bring Coach O back in any capacity, right? Any capacity. Because remember, there's no limit on how many people you can have on your coaching staff anymore. His passion is infectious. And anybody who has heard Coach O speak during practice, or I should say bellow, you love his approach. You know what kind of mood he's in. You know if he's giving you a positive constructive criticism. You know if he's giving you a positive reinforcement. You know if he's pissed off. And I think that's the one thing that's lacking on this coaching staff. Again, we don't get to watch practice, so I can't tell you, but I know what Coach O brings. So that's all I would say with that. Okay, we're going to add a couple more questions in the next segment, and then we're getting some Christmas movies in the third segment. So hang out. Again, this episode's all about having some fun. All right, let's get into it. So from 5555 Emerson, USC needs to get the bull by the horn and make a decision for Lynn. I remember when Aaron Rodgers had to go away to meditate in order to decide if he wanted to stay with Green Bay. Well, Green Bay then informed him they were going in a different direction. We don't need this annually. It's not good for momentum. What Emerson is talking about is, remember last year, Penn State, they came after Danton Lynn. Danton Lynn was able to get a contract extension and a significant raise from USC out of this, and that's fine. After the turnaround he did in his first year at USC, he earned it. Penn State didn't get their guy. They ended up settling for Jim Knowles, and it's not really settling. He was a defensive coordinator for Ohio State, the team that won the national championship. We know what happened to Penn State last year. Well, fast forward a year later, Penn State wants their boy back. Remember, Danton Lynn played in the secondary. That's where he went to school. That's his alma mater. That's mom. When mom calls you home, you come home. And since we haven't really heard from Antonlynn since this whole thing came down, you kind of get the impression that, yeah, somebody needs to make a decision. I agree with you, Emerson. It's time for one party to make the decision. I talked about this with Marvin Powell III on yesterday's episode. You can't have this long of a dead period without making some sort of definitive statement. We heard Coach Riley after practice last week. It was kind of like, hey, you know what? We're not the same program we were 2 years ago when Lynn joined us. We're definitely not the same program we were 4 years ago when I took over. This is a destination place. There's a lot of coaches out there that'll be willing to come in here and coach right now. So when you hear your head coach talking like that, you kind of get the feeling that, yeah, they're going to be moving on. Well, cut bait. Just cut bait. This one is from Daniel Wallace, M6K. Mark, so we don't consider the Trojan family anymore. We look at production only. And if it's not sufficient, even for a freshman, we just say bye-bye. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, Daniel. It's a fine line. I understand where you're coming from. I really do. Look, if an incoming freshman is making 7 figures per year, you need to see progression and you need to see development from that young man, especially as the year goes on. Now, obviously, an injury changes the calculus, as we know, and this has nothing to do with Jakeem Stewart, but he played all last year with a stress fracture in his foot. But you can see what he's capable of doing. I cannot wait to see him play 100% healthy. That's going to be crazy. And hopefully we get to see that happen in his true sophomore season. However, yes, to your question, and I'm using finger quotes right now, these kids are now making, finger quotes again, grown-up money. And they're going to have to show a return on that investment, just like professionals have to. Doesn't matter what the industry is. But if you want to talk strictly about sports, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, whatever, if you're making big money, you're expected to prove production. They're not giving Shohei Ohtani that kind of Godzilla contract without anticipating 60 home runs, 60 stolen bases. I mean, yeah, when you're making that kind of money, you better return. You have to show a return on that investment. But this is another reason why I do not like to call them kids. They're young adults, and they're going to be treated as such. Just like I have to get used to, tradition and rivalry games being thrown out with the baby and the bathwater, some of you are going to have to adjust your view of things as well. I guess chronologically you can call them kids, but no. When they turn 18, they're young adults. They're old enough to defend this country. They're old enough to make 6-figure salaries. Sometimes some of them 7 figures. They're old enough to take criticism, and they're old enough to understand, hey, this is the real world. You want to be paid like that? You got to produce like that. So I appreciate the question, Daniel. I understand where you're coming from. It's a brave new world, right? So maybe it's just how we perceive things. Once again, Merry Christmas to you, your family. Thank you for the question. All right. So there you go. So Locked On USC viewer, listener, mailbag questions and answers. We'll do that some more. Don't worry. But since it's Christmas and 'tis the season, let's talk about some of the must-watch Christmas movies. What are yours? Look, take this out, my pointer, my pencil. I always have something in my hand. These are the movies that I watch pretty much every Christmas. All right? Every Christmas. First of all, yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Not sure. Look, I'm not sure who has their Christmas parties in November. But the security guard in the movie Die Hard, remember? He had money on that USC versus Notre Dame game. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. By the way, the USC Notre Dame rivalry game. That was also highlighted in the Godfather Part 2 movie. Remember when Michael Corleone goes down to Miami Beach to visit Hyman Roth? That game's on the TV in the background. So yes, folks, this game means a lot. It means a lot. It's part of the national DNA of college football. It's in movies. Okay. This one, obviously, if you don't like this movie, we can't be friends. We can't be friends. I'm sorry. But A Christmas Story. It's a cult classic. And I literally have it on at least one TV for 24 hours when it's on. It's always, so when I walk into a room, I can just look over and say, oh, I know that scene. Look, there are so many great moments in that flick. Fragile. When Ralphie says, oh, fudge. I triple dog dare you. All of that. I actually saw that movie in the theaters when it came out, and I was crying. I was laughing so hard, especially during the I can't put my arms down scene. I don't know why, but I lost it. I could not stop laughing. My belly hurt. There's so many great moments in that movie. I mean, when Ralphie, doesn't really snitch on Schwartz, but gets Schwartz in trouble for using the F word for saying fudge, and then all of a sudden you hear Schwartz in the background getting his butt whipped by his mom. Yeah, so many good moments in that movie. All right. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Turner Classic Movies. I love the old black and white. Love them. Love them. It's a Wonderful Life. Mea culpa. I'm going to let you know right now, I have never watched that movie from beginning to end. Never. Not once. I'm going to try and do it this year. But first of all, I'm a huge James Stewart fan. Huge. And how can you not like George Bailey, right? I also make sure I watch a movie called It Happened on Fifth Avenue. It's kind of I don't know, it's not a big movie. It's I don't know, how do I describe it? It's just a good feel-good movie. Little bit of a rom-com sort of thing. But Gail Storm, she is the lead actress in this movie. Gorgeous. But also because, like I said, I'm a sap for feel-good movies. In the end, it's just really beautiful. Really is. Go check it out. It Happened on Fifth Avenue. You'll like it. John Wayne fan alert here. That's me. Yeah. The Three Godfathers. You have to watch this movie. There's nothing better than John Wayne being a bank robber. But he's got a good heart. And he promises a mother who just gave birth just before she dies in the middle of the desert that he will get her newborn back to its family in New Jerusalem. Check it out. Great movie. It's it's a little bit on the serious side, but if you like Christmas movies and the baby Jesus thing and riding the donkey into Jerusalem, check it out. It's a great adaptation. Cannot leave this movie out. Cannot leave Elf. Cannot leave that off your list. Will Ferrell, Bob Newhart, rest in peace. James Caan, rest in peace. Peter Dinklage, little angry elf. He's an angry elf. And yes, Baby It's Cold Outside, still a great song. Love that song. Will Ferrell, Zooey Deschanel, another hottie. So yeah, you have to watch Elf every single year. Please tell me you don't miss out on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Please tell me you don't miss out on that movie. I watch it, love it. Big Chevy Chase fan. Gremlins, I think it belongs on the list. Takes place during Christmas. So does The Grinch That Stole Christmas. That better be on your list. Absolutely. And if you want to get into, more of the cartoonish type of stuff, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, sure, why not? All those movies, all those Rankin and Bass movies, love them. All right, so hit me up. Let me know, what movies did I leave off the list? What should be on the list? All right, everyone, I cannot say it enough. I just can't. And because I have the microphone, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Continue to be an everydayer. I'm telling you, love you guys. Even the ones I disagree with. Some of you get under my skin with some of your comments. But your family, your crazy Uncle Joe. We all have them in our family. Some of you might think I'm that person, and that's fine. I don't want us to all agree on everything. It would be really boring. And that's what this show is all about. It's about you, the fans. It's about me loving USC. It's about giving you something to think about. All right. I want you to think about this. Showing up tomorrow for the next episode of Locked on USC. It's what we do around here. At least 5 times a week, sometimes more. MVP3, he'll be back. We'll do another episode. So until then, everyone, you know what to do. Merry Christmas.